Do you wonder what is the difference between derealization and depersonalization? And what do you do about it? Stay tuned. We're going to talk all about it. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist and I make videos for people with anxiety or OCD. And today I want to talk to you about the difference between depersonalization and derealization. But first, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified whenever new videos come out, which is every Thursday. This topic request came from a subscriber, and I thought it was a really good one to cover because it's something I hadn't touched on before. So depersonalization and derealization are just slightly different. Depersonalization is about being disconnected from yourself, and it can look very different for each person, depending on how it's going to manifest with you. So you might feel like you're not real. You might feel like you're a robot. You might feel like you're outside looking in or you're observing. You might feel like looking in the mirror, you're looking at someone like a stranger. It can show up in many different ways, but it has to do with you and how you're viewing yourself and how you're connected to yourself. It's very common with a lot of anxiety issues and a lot of panic issues that people struggle with depersonalization and derealization. So derealization is being disconnected from your environment or things outside of you. So you might feel like you're in a dream, or you might feel like people that you care about are not who they are. Maybe they feel like they're robots, or that the whole thing, this whole world that we're living in is not real. It can cause a lot of what we call existential anxiety. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because the bigger message with all of this is that whether it's derealization or depersonalization, it doesn't matter. A lot of times you have both. Sometimes you have one stronger than the other. But the important thing is to not get hung up on the definition or what diagnosis you have, because that's how anxiety hooks you. What you really want to focus on is what to do about it. So if you're experiencing those things, which are very disorienting and can be very overwhelming, and I know this from personal experience. When I was in college and I started to have a lot of anxiety and I started to have panic attacks, depersonalization and derealization were part of my panic attacks. And it made me feel very, very disoriented, and it actually really heightened my panic attacks. Sometimes we can get panic attacks because of those sensations. And I think that's kind of what happened to me. I would start getting those sensations and it would cause me to have a panic attack. And other times it can happen while we're in the middle of a panic attack. It doesn't matter. It's all horrible. It all feels bad. And actually my daughter has struggled with this periodically, and she's only a little person. So it happens to all of us. Well, it doesn't really happen to all of us, but it can happen to a lot of us who have anxiety or OCD. So the important point, I'm just going to give you a couple of tips about this in general. I mean, obviously I can't go deep into it because this is a YouTube video, but the important thing to remember is that when you start to fight those feelings with anything related to anxiety or OCD, when you start to really tug at that, it's going to get a tighter hold on you. So the important thing to do, and this is easier said than done, and I get this from my own personal experience, is not fight those feelings, right? So like when we have health anxiety and we think there's something wrong with us and we hyper focus on that, oh my gosh, what is that on my stomach? And now I'm going to really worry about it. My anxiety around that is going to go up, 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 right? Or what was that noise? And I'm really listening and now I'm hearing other noises. My anxiety is going to go up, up, up. It's the same thing with derealization and depersonalization. Oh my gosh, I don't feel right. I feel weird. I feel like I'm outside of my body. And now I'm really analyzing that. Do I? What's going on? What does this mean? What's happening? Up, up, up my anxiety goes, and the more sensations I'm going to have. So a lot of ways to deal with anxiety and OCD in general, and including this issue, is acceptance, which is so hard to do. I accept that I'm having this feeling. I know exactly what it is because I have had it before. And so it's not a comfortable feeling, but it's not a feeling I have to obsess about or worry about. It's just very uncomfortable. And then I'm going to go and do some things that help me when I'm experiencing this. And you might figure out, what is that for you? Some people use a lot of grounding techniques, like when I'm feeling like I'm outside of my body or when I'm feeling like the world isn't real, these are the activities that help calm me down. And some of them might be physical activities. Some of them might be getting your mind into something. I'm going to listen to a podcast or a YouTube video, or I'm going to watch Netflix, or I'm going to take a shower so I can feel the water running down my body, or I'm going to go listen to music. It will be different for each person. But the important thing is to do and find the things that help you. For me, it was getting some fresh air. It was going for a walk. Sometimes it was having an orange, because I have no idea why, but feeling the orange and eating the orange, it helped ground me. I know that's weird, but it helped. What helps you? Write that down and think about it when you're not having those things, so that you have a plan when you are experiencing that. And then when you accept it and you ride through that discomfort, it tends to go away a little bit quicker than it would when you hold on to it and you really obsess about it. I know they're not fun things to have, and eventually mine went away as I started to not fight it and I started to accept that this is how I'm feeling right now. One way that a lot of people do deal with it in a very unhealthy way is they stop doing things they normally would do. So they avoid things. I'm not going to go to that party because what if I start to feel like I'm not real? Or I'm not going to have that conversation with my friend because what if she can tell there's something wrong with me? Or I'm not going to go out of my house because what if that experience happens? And when you train your brain that doing activities can be scary because you might have this experience, your world gets smaller and smaller, and you actually have more of those symptoms because your brain is like, oh my gosh, these are scary and we can't do anything in the real world. So the minute I go out into the real world because I have to, my brain and my anxiety is like, this is a scary experience and I'm going to trigger that response. And so you have more of those symptoms, and none of us want that. So I hope that helps give you just a snapshot of the difference between those two things, which really isn't a big deal and you shouldn't really obsess about that, and some tidbits on what to do about it. Well, I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do. Don't forget to hit subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. If you have a topic idea, feel free to leave them in the comments. I don't cover everything that I see because I really want it to be about anxiety or OCD and no other topics. And a lot of times people will leave comments and I've already done those videos, but feel free to leave them because you never know. Hit the bell and you might show up on Thursday and be like, hey, that was my idea. Find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll talk to you again next Thursday. Take care.